shit.
Hi, this is Jim Mangold. We're going to be watching a series of deleted scenes from the film. I imagine you've probably watched them already once without my commentary, so I'm going to talk right over them. This first one is an extension of the driving sequence after the Oklahoma City casino sequence. After he forces Charles to take his pills, we had an additional scene where an officer pulls them over.
Just how fast do you think you were going, Mr. Howlett?
60-ish.
It's largely been cut from the film simply because we didn't need it and we were running long. You know, the movie, even in its finished form, is almost 2 hours and 15 minutes long.
You need to be more careful.
And we just felt like this was an extra minute that we couldn't afford. Nonetheless, I really liked the scene.
What's your name, honey?
Oh, she doesn't speak.
But she does have a name?
The actress is wonderful who plays the police officer. And I really like the moment where she asks Laura right here if this is her father.
And is this man your father?
And for the first time in the movie, she has to answer. After kind of pausing there a moment and everyone staring at her, she nods, yes, indeed, Logan is her father. It also very much captures that vibe I described in the main commentary, where I was kind of almost looking for a very informal, almost Little Miss Sunshine vibe for these characters. That is, they're on a drive, despite all the heroic nature of what we've seen Logan and Charles Xavier do in the past, that we're enjoying finding them just getting pulled over on the edge of a highway. This is an alternate scene that we lifted out mainly because I felt like it really brought the energy down and dark at a moment that I really liked, that things were feeling very hopeful at this house. The scene is obviously one, as if you watched it already, in which Charles tells the family they're visiting that Logan killed his wife. He's talking about Jean Grey.
Her name was Jean Grey.
He doesn't have all the facts quite right through his hazy memory, but he does manage to get under Logan's skin and freak out the family a bit. This was something that we had written only a part of and then improvised.
I'm sorry. I think you're a little confused.
I liked the moment in isolation a lot, but when cut into the movie, it had a kind of powerful effect of dampening that moment and kind of making the Munson family seem a little strange for keeping them there.
Great, but we have a long drive ahead of us, so...
You need to rest, don't you?
This is a small piece that we lifted out of the Munson house mayhem, in which Logan and Laura have a kind of final moment seeing Caliban, who has fallen out of the exploded truck and is in the grass near the burning truck, and they just have eye contact with him for a moment. The tricky thing about it is it felt a little bit to us like they shouldn't leave him there. They should take him with them. Why do they take Charles' body and leave Caliban's body? Felt like it was almost raising more questions. At the same time, I felt bad cutting it because I also felt like it gave Stephen's character a kind of farewell. These are the difficult choices you face making a movie. This is a really lovely scene we shot for the Eden section of the film when he's recovering in that cabin. His sleep is interrupted by Bobby, who asks him a question about Sabretooth.
Was Sabretooth real?
Again, the scene was just a little repetitive with the other scenes he had with Laura, and the movie felt like it was running a bit long, but I love this scene.
Laura said you said all the stories in the comic books were lies.
Not all. Not completely.
Saber-Tooth real.
It was also another scene in which we explore this kind of unique relationship between the celebrity of these characters. The children are fans playing with comic books and action figures, and that the real man is lying before him, covered with the scars of those very real battles.
So you did some mean things with them?
Yeah.
But now you're doing good things.
Kid, I don't know what I'm doing.
This is a short pair of scenes that we felt the story made sense without them, and again, as we were running along, we lifted them, but they explain how Donald Pierce finds the clue of the photograph. We already saw that in a scene that's in the film, shares it with Rice, and reveals to him that the address they're at is an address that's featured in an X-Men comic.
According to Wikipedia, it's also there. Gabby loved that shit.
Lemuria. So I understand that your mother and son are safe at the holding center in Guadeloupe. We're looking after them, both of them. Connect the fucking dots, dear.
In the last sequence in the Chama Woods, where the kids are racing for their lives, we had a couple bits, this one being the largest one, where we reveal powers of another child. And this kid, why we called him kind of the puppet master, in that he could kind of make people do mirror moves with him. Again, the reason for lifting it was just running time.